tariff and trade wars have no winners. Beyond driving up costs for production and trade, they fragment the world economy and disrupt the global distribution of resources. We never seek trade surplus. On top of being the world's factory, we hope to be the world's market too. However, in many cases, when China wants to buy, others don't want to sell. Trade issues often become security hurdles. We will give full play to our supersized market, step up our efforts to expand import and strengthen industrial cooperation so that countries can better share in China's opportunities. Facts have demonstrated once again that China and the United States will gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation, and that they should and can help each other succeed and prosper together. As we speak, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the world. Rising unilateralism and protection, compounded by the impacts of regional conflicts and geopolitics, are bringing new changes to the global economic and trade order. In particular, since last year, tariff and trade wars have inflicted significant shocks on the world economy and posed serious challenges to multilateralism and free trade. In response to the changes of the world of our times and in the dynamics, President Xi has put forward the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, the Global Civilization Initiative, and last year, the Global Governance Initiative. Pulling consensus and strength for solidarity and cooperation over division and confrontation, and providing China's solution to the common problems of the world. In light of the current situation, I wish to share a few observations. First, we should firmly support free trade and jointly promote a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization. Economic globalization, driven by international specialization, collaboration, complementary strengths, and the pursuit of win-win, is a prevailing trend of history. It has benefited many countries, including China, and enabled them to achieve fast development. On the contrary, tariff and trade wars have no winners. Beyond driving up costs for production and trade, they fragment the world economy and disrupt the global distribution of resources. WTO data shows that the share of global trade under most favored nation terms has dropped from 80% at the beginning of last year to 72%. The IMF estimates that economic fragmentation can reduce global economic output by about 7%. That is in no country's interest. While economic globalization is not perfect and may cause some problems, we cannot completely reject it and retreat to self-imposed isolation. The right approach should be and can only be to find solutions together through dialogue and steer economic globalization in the correct direction. China advocates a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization. We are committed to building bridges, not walls. We will firmly support trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and continue to share development opportunities with the world. We will work with all parties to create a bright future of prosperity and development where every country and every community shares the dividends of development. Second, we should firmly safeguard multilateralism and make the international economic and trade order more just and equitable. The multilateral trading system now faces the most serious challenges in years. The unilateral acts and trade deals of certain countries clearly violate the fundamental principles and rules of the WTO and severely impact the global economic and trade order. As President Xi Jinping noted, at difficult times, we must uphold our original commitment to peaceful coexistence and strengthen our confidence in win-win cooperation. Multilateralism is the right way to keep the international order stable and promote humanity's development and progress. The rules must apply equally to everyone. A handful of countries should not enjoy privileges based on their strength, and the world must not return to the law of the jungle where the strong bully the weak. Every country is entitled to defend its legitimate rights and interests. Since joining the WTO, China has strictly followed the organization's rules, earnestly fulfilled its commitments, and taken voluntary steps to contribute more. Last year, it solemnly announced that it will not seek new, special, and differential treatment in current and future negotiations at the WTO. China will continue to firmly uphold the WTO-centered, rules-based multilateral trading system and firmly support the reforms of multilateral institutions, including the WTO and the IMF, with a view to enhancing the authority, effectiveness, and inclusiveness of the multilateral trading system and increasing the representation of the Global South and developing countries. China is glad to see countries reaching trade agreements that are mutually beneficial, but these agreements should comply with WTO rules and not undermine the interests of third parties. Third, we should pursue win-win cooperation, work together to make the pie bigger, and jointly resolve development issues. Currently, world economic growth is lacking momentum. The IMF forecasts global growth of 3.1% for 2026, which is below the pre-COVID average of 3.7%. What is more worrying is that unfairness continues to grow and sustainable development is facing severe challenges. According to a UN report, 2/3 of the Sustainable Development Goals will not be met by 2030. The pursuit of development should not be a you lose, I win, zero-sum game. Rather, every party should play its part and get its fair share. Making the pie bigger together is more important than fighting for the pie, and solving problems together is more effective than blaming each other. China is committed to fostering common prosperity with its trading partners through its own development and making the pie bigger for global economy and trade. We never seek trade surplus. On top of being the world's factory, we hope to be the world's market too. However, in many cases, when China wants to buy, others don't want to sell. Trade issues often become security hurdles. On the other hand, services now account for 2/3 of global GDP. China has recorded a large deficit in its services trade over the long term, but it never feels being taken advantage of. We will give full play to our supersized market, step up our efforts to expand import and strengthen industrial cooperation so that countries can better share in China's opportunities. Fourth, we should uphold mutual respect and equal-footed consultation and manage differences and solve problems through dialogue. Last year, economic and trade relations between China and the United States went through some ups and downs. Guided by the common understandings of the two presidents, from their meeting in Busan and 4 phone calls, Chinese and U.S. teams had 5 rounds of consultation and economic trade issues. Following the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, they properly handled some outstanding issues and kept the economic and trade relationship generally stable. Facts have demonstrated once again that China and the United States will gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation, and that they should and can help each other succeed and prosper together. The trade talks also showed that as long as the two sides engage in equal-footed consultation and work in the same direction, there will always be more solutions than problems.
To be frank, it's normal for countries with different social systems, stages of development, histories, and cultures to encounter divergences and frictions as they develop and interact. But sometimes these are merely misunderstandings. The key is to uphold the spirit of equality, respect, and mutual benefit, build trust through dialogue, and resolve disputes through consultation.